Let me ask you a question. What if the next big leap in your career isn't actually up? For most of us, success has always been about climbing the ladder, higher title, bigger salary, more direct reports. But what if your smartest move, your real game changer, is a sideways one? That's right. Sometimes the fastest way to grow isn't moving up, it's moving across. Today we're talking about why lateral moves might be the smartest career decision you'll ever make, and how making one could open doors you didn't even know existed. Because here's the truth. The modern workplace isn't a ladder anymore. It's a lattice. And the people who thrive aren't just climbing, they're navigating. We are going to break down why that matters and how you can use it to your advantage. Let's dive in. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Work Chat. Today, we're diving into why making a lateral move might actually give you a real advantage in today's workplace and how to do it the right way. For decades, career success meant moving up, one rung at a time. You started as an associate, then manager, then director, then VP. That structure worked when companies were stable, hierarchies were clear, and industries moved slowly. But the workplace today? It's nothing like that. Roles evolve faster than ever. New skills replace old ones. Entire departments restructure overnight. And in many industries, there are fewer rungs to climb because hierarchies are flattening. So what happens? Talented people get stuck waiting for promotions that may never come. They feel frustrated, overlooked, or worse, like their career has hit a ceiling. That's where the lateral move comes in. A lateral move, taking a new role at the same level, can look sideways on paper, but if it expands your visibility, skills, and relationships, it's actually a strategic move forward. In other words, it's not a detour, it's a shortcut. However, let's clear up a misconception. A lateral move doesn't mean you're settling or staying stagnant. It means you're choosing growth, just not in the traditional way. A lateral move might be moving to a different department or function, shifting from operations to product, or from marketing to strategy, or taking on a cross-functional project that broadens your skill set. On the org chart, your title might stay the same, but your value increases because you're becoming more versatile, more visible, and more valuable across the organization. And here's what most people don't realize. The people who make it to executive roles often have a history of lateral moves. They've built range, not just rank. So why do lateral moves matter so much now? Let's look at 3 big reasons. 1. They expand your skill set. When you move laterally, you're learning new systems, new challenges, new ways of thinking. You might move from a tactical role to a strategic one, from execution to analytics, from back-end operations to customer-facing experience. Each shift makes you more well-rounded and more prepared for leadership down the line. Think of it this way. Promotions make you deeper in one lane, but lateral moves make you wider across the map. And in today's world, breadth of experience is just as powerful as depth. The most valuable professionals are the ones who can connect dots across departments, not just master one area. 2. They build influence and visibility. Here's another huge benefit people overlook. Lateral moves expose you to new teams, leaders, and networks, and visibility creates opportunity. You might be great at your job, but if the only people who see your work are your immediate team, your growth potential stays limited. A lateral move expands your circle of influence. You learn how different functions think, what challenges they face, and how your work connects to theirs. Before you know it, you're not just a department expert, you're a company-wide problem solver. And that's the kind of visibility that gets you invited into bigger conversations, and eventually, bigger roles. 3. They future-proof your career. If the last few years taught us anything, it's that change is constant. Industries shift. Technologies evolve. The people who stay relevant aren't those who cling to one lane. They're the ones who adapt fast. Lateral moves build that adaptability. They train you to learn quickly, adjust to new dynamics, and approach problems from multiple angles. In a world where AI and automation are reshaping jobs, having range is your best insurance policy. When the environment changes, you won't panic because you've already learned how to pivot. Let me share a real-life example. I once worked with someone who started in customer support. She was great at helping clients and solving problems, but she wanted to move up into management. When that didn't happen, she considered quitting until she noticed an opening in the operations team. It wasn't a promotion, it was a lateral move. But she saw it as a chance to understand how the business worked behind the scenes, so she took it. In that new role, she learned how different systems and processes worked together and became a bridge across departments. She built strong relationships with product, marketing, and engineering, and used her deep understanding of the client experience to add real value to every project. A year later, she was offered a leadership role, not because she climbed faster, but because she grew wider. That's the power of a lateral move. It's not about waiting for opportunity, it's about building it. Now you might be wondering, how do I know if a lateral move is right for me? Here are a few signs. Sign number 1, you've stopped learning in your current role. If you can do your job on autopilot, you're not growing, and growth happens outside your comfort zone. Sign number 2, you've hit a promotion ceiling. Maybe there's no open spot above you. Instead of waiting years, look for a sideways move that builds new capability. Sign number 3, you want to shift industries or functions. If your long-term goal is to pivot, say, from marketing to product management, a lateral move is often the smartest bridge. Sign number 4, you're craving new visibility. Sometimes, the best way to get noticed is to move into a space where fewer people know you, and then make an impact there. So let's say you've decided that a lateral move is the right step for you. The question is, how do you actually make that move the right way? Here's a 5-step approach for you. Step 1, clarify your goal. Ask yourself, what do I want to gain from this move? It could be new skills, relationships, or exposure to leadership. Knowing your why ensures the move is intentional, not reactive. Step 2, identify growth areas. Think about where your current experience is narrow. For example, if you're strong in execution but not strategy, look for a role that stretches your planning and decision-making. If you're strong internally but not customer-facing, move into a role that builds your communication and presentation skills. Step 3, talk to your manager early. If you like your company, don't assume you need to leave to grow. Have a transparent conversation about exploring lateral opportunities. Many leaders will support it because smart companies know internal mobility builds stronger talent. You could say something like, I've really enjoyed developing in my current role, and I'm looking to broaden my experience. I'd love your thoughts on areas where I can add value across the organization. That's proactive, not threatening. Step 4, build relationships before you move. If you're eyeing a different department, start connecting with people there. Ask curious questions, join cross-functional projects, or offer to collaborate. That way, when an opportunity opens up, you're already a known quantity. Remember, most lateral moves don't happen because of job postings. They happen because of conversations. Step 5, leverage the move for visibility. Once you make the move, don't fade into the background. Share what you're learning, connect dots between departments, and bring your fresh perspective to meetings. You're not just the new person, you're the bridge between worlds. That perspective is incredibly valuable, and if you communicate it clearly, people will see you as a connector, not just a mover. Now, let's address a common fear many people have about making a lateral move. What if it looks like I'm not progressing? This is one of the biggest misconceptions about career growth, that progress only counts when it's upward. But the truth is, some of the smartest moves you'll ever make are sideways, not up. Here's the truth. If your career story shows growth in your skills, scope, and impact, then your title matters far less than you think. Hiring managers and executives care about what you've learned, not just what you were called. In fact, recruiters often love candidates who've done lateral rotations. It shows range, adaptability, and curiosity. So instead of asking, "Is this a promotion?" ask, "Will this make me more valuable in the long run?" That's the mindset shift that separates people who build sustainable careers from those who stall. Here's the bigger picture. The traditional career ladder doesn't exist the way it used to. The workplace has become a network, fluid, cross-functional, and dynamic. You might go sideways, then up, then diagonally. And that's okay. That's actually how modern careers grow. The smartest professionals aren't obsessed with title, they're obsessed with trajectory. And the truth is, lateral moves often give you the kind of growth, confidence, and exposure that a vertical move can't. Because promotions give you authority, but lateral moves give you range. And range is what makes you irreplaceable. All right, here are the key takeaways from today's episode. The corporate ladder is becoming a career lattice. Lateral moves build range, influence, and adaptability. They make you more visible, more versatile, and more future-proof. The key is to make these moves intentionally, not reactively. And when done right, a lateral move can be your greatest accelerator. So, the next time you see an opportunity that's not a promotion, don't dismiss it too quickly. That might just be the doorway to your next level. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Work Chat. If this episode made you rethink your career strategy, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's feeling stuck or ready for a change. And tell us in the comments, would you consider a lateral move if it meant more growth and visibility, even without a title change? Remember, growth isn't always up. Sometimes it's across. See you in the next episode.